Today, a United States Congresswoman, my Aunt Vicky, started crying because gay people like me can get married.
I hope.
The gentleman you just heard from is Andrew Hartzler, who's about to speak some truth about his own aunt, Representative Vicky Hartzler. Let's watch.
And pray that my colleagues will find the courage to join me in opposing this misguided and this dangerous bill. I yield back.
So despite coming out to my aunt this past February, I guess she's still just as much as a homophobe.
Now, Vicky Hartzler did not get her way. Luckily, the legislation meant to somewhat codify same-sex marriage and offer protection should the Supreme Court reverse protections for same-sex marriage did in fact pass. And gotta say, through that story, as fascinating as it was to see a United States Congresswoman cry on the House floor over equality for folks, the benefit of that story was that we got to learn about Andrew Hartzler, and he joins us today. Andrew, thank you so much for coming in and speaking to us about your story.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I wanted to start off to just you've talked a little bit about what it was like to disclose to your aunt, to come out to your aunt, and how you guys had a great relationship when you were younger, but she didn't take it so well when you told her who you really are. Can you talk a little bit about what that was like for you and what your relationship is with her today?
Yeah, it's always difficult when coming out to someone and they think that it's not really a big deal, that they will say they still love you, but they like to comb over the fact that they don't accept you, or that they're like, oh, that's not like what I believe, and that that's wrong, but I'll still love you. But then it's like, I don't think our relationship's going to be the same, because how can you love me if you don't accept me and you fundamentally disagree with who I am as a person? That doesn't really track.
Yeah, Andrew, how was your relationship with her growing up? Was she warm, kind? Did you guys see each other all the time? How was it?
Yeah, so me and my Aunt Vicky actually, we lived on the same tract of land on the same street. And in the summers, because I have a cousin that's my same age, we would go to DC with my aunt, and we would I remember me and my cousin would run around the tunnels underneath the Capitol and try to escape the summer intern that was supposed to watch us. So I spent a lot of time with her, and I had a lot of fun. But whenever I came out to her, I was met with that same message of, I love you, but I don't accept you. So it was interesting in July when the Congress first voted on the Respect for Marriage Act, the initial vote. I forget exactly what the term is on it, but I remember looking at the roll call and seeing that my aunt abstained from voting. And then she invited me to Thanksgiving dinner, which I was unable to come to because of other obligations. So I kind of had this idea that, she might be have a different view because she abstained from voting. And then I wake up this past Thursday, a week ago today, and I see this video of her on the House floor. And I was like, wow, this is my aunt right now. This is what she thinks. And it's, yeah. It's been a week.
I bet. And I just want to give you so much credit for the courage that you've shown, not only in your specific situation in speaking out against your aunt, which does take courage. I mean, I can't even imagine what kind of reaction you've gotten, both from the public and maybe even from other family members, but also the activism that you've been engaged in, how you've been trying to change the country for the better legislatively. For instance, one of the things that you're working on is getting federal funding taken away from private institutions that somehow still get federal funding even if they engage in homophobic policies, discriminative policies. Federal money shouldn't be going to that. No public funding should go toward that. So can you tell me a little bit about that effort?
Yeah, So when I was a junior in college, I went to Oral Roberts University. I was reported to the dean's office because I brought my boyfriend onto campus who went to another university, and I was called in with reports of of homosexual activity. And ultimately I was told that if I didn't go to these accountability meetings, then I would be expelled. And these meetings were like conversion therapy. And anyways, like I kept my head down, got through that. And then this was like right in January before COVID started in 2020. So like COVID kind of helped. And then I graduated. And then the summer after I graduated, I got involved with REAP, the Religious Exemption Accountability Project. And what they're doing is partnering with students from religious institutions across the country. And together we're in a class action lawsuit that is suing the US Department of Education, because right now, all of these religious institutions receive federal money through students who get Pell Grants, who receive FAFSA, and that's government money that's then given to the students, which is then given to the university. And for instance, during the CARES Act, like during the stimulus package that Congress passed during COVID, like the university that I went to received like several $100,000. And then they're being able to discriminate on the basis of sexual or gender identity. And
well, not only that, I mean, they're forcing students into conversion. I mean, I don't even want to call it conversion therapy. It's not therapy, it's torture. You can't change someone's sexual identity. Look, not to get into some, I'm sure it was not I can't imagine how traumatic it is. But when I think of conversion therapy, I mean, we've done stories about really terrible methods used. I mean, obviously there's propaganda that's supposed to make you feel shameful about who you are. There's been electroshock therapy in the past. Do you mind talking about what kind of tactics they utilize to, try to change the sexuality of students?
Yeah. So I have a lot of experience with conversion therapy. When I was 14, I was first subjected to it. And then I saw a conversion counselor off and on until my senior year of high school. But what they do is they basically teach you to hate yourself in a way that you're required to use a large part of your brain to constantly repress and suppress like these emotions and attractions that you're feeling, because you're being told that that is inherently wrong. And a big thing that they push is that the more attractions or temptations you have, that means that you're not spending enough time with God. And I remember when I was like 14, 15, sitting across from this conversion counselor, and he was an ex-gay in his like late 50s. And he was telling me that, yeah, to this day, I still have attractions towards other men, but that just means I must have missed Bible study that week or something. And I was like, at that moment, I knew like, okay, this isn't for me. This is not real. This can't happen. This is torture.
Yeah.
And no one, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, Andrew, I have more questions about that. So, do they ever give you a non-religious reason not to be gay, or are they just like, oh, God hates the sin and it's terrible and immoral, like just garbage? That doesn't make any sense. Not logical. It's not anything. It's just, hey, some rabbi maybe 2,500 years ago said this, maybe, but we're gonna just taunt you with it. Is there anything else, or is that it? That's their big idea. Is I talked to the invisible guy in the sky and he says he hates it.
Most of it's all really backed up with religion. I mean, Christians love to use the religion like as a shield to hide behind. And like my Aunt Vicky did on the House floor, she was like weaponizing her own religion and using it to frame queer people as a threat to her religion and a threat to society, which then makes other people who believe my aunt's rhetoric then like demonize queer people. And that's why there's so much violence in today's society towards us. Like we saw at the Q club shooting in Miami and all these drag story hours, which are being plagued with violence. And I would say my aunt's a direct proponent of that violence.
Does your aunt know how embarrassing she is?
I think my aunt has really strong convictions.
To be embarrassing.
Like I would say when she was crying, I would say that those were like genuine tears. Just because like I've seen my aunt cry. Most of the time she's only ever cried on the house floor when it's about abortion, but
can I I mean, look, this is not a question, it's more of a comment, but I can't help myself. I find her to be incredibly embarrassing. And the fact that, and I agree with you, I think that she was genuine in what she was saying. I don't think that those were fake tears. I think there are all sorts of Republican politicians out there who want to earn political brownie points with evangelical voters. So they'll say all sorts of things that they don't believe. And then behind the scenes, their mistresses are getting abortions, they're having all sorts of affairs. I think your aunt actually believes what she's saying. And you know what? Too bad for her, because she is cutting wonderful family members out of her life in order to believe in a doctrine of hate, a doctrine that somehow looks down at you, when in reality what she's advocating for is essentially propagandizing and traumatizing individuals who are born with a sexual identity, that can't be changed, a sexual orientation that can't be changed. So I know that's not a comment, that's not a question, it's more of a comment, but I just wanted to let you know about that because, we live in a country that's diverse in so many different ways, not only through race, gender, sexual identity. We have so many different people with different beliefs, different values, and we have to live together. And she has chosen a path that treats an entire population of people within the United States as second-class citizens. And someone who has that kind of ideology, in my mind, has no place serving as a lawmaker or serving as a representative. So if you ever speak to her again, just let her know that there are people in this country, including myself, who celebrate the fact that she lost her primary race and will no longer serve as a United States Congresswoman.
Which actually leads me to a question, Andrew. Have you spoken to her since? Since her speech?
Since like a week ago?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I haven't. I mean, I was pretty convinced that if like I had already had my conversation with her and she knew that she had a relative in that was gay and she still thought that it was okay and acceptable and like she felt good about making that speech, then I knew that nothing I could say could ever really change.
Yeah, no, Andrew.
Because ultimately I think
Andrew, from your perspective, I totally get it. What are you gonna do? Call her and say, hey, by the way, Aunt, I'm not immoral. Like what kind of conversation is this? This is absurd, right? But on the other hand, I know I have nephews. If I had said something that made them obviously upset, and then they were speaking out in public, the very first thing I would do is call them and say, "Hey, are you okay? How do you feel?" And even if she thinks, "Oh my God, homosexuality is so immoral," and why, by the way? Because she was brainwashed into that ideology when she was young, right? And she doesn't know she's been brainwashed and that she's in a cult. And she was taught hatred and she now believes in hatred. But in her mind, she probably still loves you and you're her nephew and she remembers you when you were growing up and so has she not reached out to you at all?
Jesus.
Okay, yeah, seems like such a nice person. Yeah, I know being gay is immoral, but being terrible to your family members apparently moral. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and it kind of flies in the face of hate the sin, but love the sinner. Because if she genuinely loved you, she would reach out and maybe reflect on how her public statements make you feel and make countless others feel, not just in this country, but across the globe. And
I guarantee you she's angry at you. She's like, oh, well, you wouldn't let me just hate you? Now you're going and doing public appearances talking about that I'm the bad guy, when all I was just trying to do was make sure that people like you don't have the same rights as other people because you're obviously inferior. What? I guarantee you she blames you instead of herself.
But Andrew, look, I just want to end this by saying thank you for the work you're doing, because again, it goes outside of your personal life and your personal experiences. You're not just fighting for yourself, you're fighting for a community that's really under attack aggressively right now. And I just have so much respect for really anyone who's a strong fighter, and you represent that. So thank you so much for what you're doing. Keep fighting, and just know that you have friends here at TYT who have got your back anytime you need it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Andrew. Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.